When we think of the Middle Ages, we often imagine beautiful princesses, shining castles, and brave knights in clean armor. We see movies where battles look like a choreographed dance, but the real history of the medieval period was written in mud and blood. It was a time when technology was simple, but the violence was extreme. There were no guns, no missiles, and no long-distance bombs. If you wanted to defeat your enemy, you had to look them in the eye and use your own physical strength to end their life. Today on 5 Point Historian, we're going back to the darkest days of human conflict. We are uncovering the 5 bloodiest battles of the Middle Ages. These are the moments when thousands of lives were lost in a single day, where rivers ran red, and where the course of history was changed by the edge of a sword. Before we enter the battlefield, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us tell the stories that time almost forgot. Now let's travel to a snowy field in England. 1. The Battle of Towton, 1461. The River of Blood. The year was 1461. England was divided by a civil war known as the Wars of the Roses. Two families, the Yorks and the Lancastrians, both believed they had the right to wear the crown. On a cold, snowy Palm Sunday, they met near a small village called Towton. This would become the bloodiest day in the history of the British Isles. The horror in the snow. Imagine a storm so thick that you can barely see the man standing next to you. The wind was blowing snow directly into the faces of the Lancastrian army. Because they couldn't see, their arrows fell short, while the Yorkist arrows, pushed by the wind, flew further and killed thousands. The fighting lasted for 10 hours. Men were so exhausted they could barely lift their swords, but they didn't stop. The most terrifying part happened at a small stream called Cock Beck. As the Lancastrians tried to escape, they fell into the freezing water. The dark secret. The first dark truth is that the soldiers were so crowded in the river that they drowned under the weight of their own armor. Others were killed as they tried to climb over the bodies of their friends. It is said that the water was so full of corpses that a bridge of bodies was formed, allowing the remaining soldiers to walk across the water. By the end of the day, 28,000 men lay dead in the snow. To put that in perspective, that was 1% of the entire population of England at the time. The snow turned from white to deep crimson, and the river ran red for days. This wasn't just a battle. It was a massacre that left a permanent scar on the English landscape. 2. The Battle of Hatton, 1187. The War of Thirst. Now we leave the cold of England and travel to the burning deserts of the Holy Land. In 1187, the great Muslim leader Saladin was facing the Crusader army. The Crusaders were heavily armored and powerful, but they made a fatal mistake. They underestimated the power of the sun. The burning desert. Saladin was a master of strategy. He knew that the Crusaders needed water more than they needed swords. He lured the Crusader army into a dry, waterless area between two hills called the Horns of Hatton. While the Crusaders were trapped, Saladin's men set fire to the dry grass around them. Imagine being trapped in 40-degree heat, wearing 20 kilos of metal armor, surrounded by smoke and fire, with no water to drink. The Crusaders were so thirsty that their tongues turned black and they could barely speak. The dark secret. The second dark truth is that thirst killed more men than the sword did. Saladin's archers rained arrows down on the suffering soldiers, but many Crusaders simply collapsed and waited for death because they were too weak to fight. Saladin even brought camels filled with ice and water to show his own men, but he didn't give a single drop to the enemy leaders until they surrendered. By the end of the battle, almost the entire Crusader army, 20,000 men, was destroyed or captured. This battle led directly to the fall of Jerusalem. It proved that in the Middle Ages, nature was often more deadly than any weapon. 3. The Battle of Ankara, 1402. The Clash of Giants in 1402, two of the most powerful men in the world met in the plains of Anatolia. On one side was Yildirim Bayezid, the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, famous for his lightning-fast attacks. On the other side was Timur, the legendary conqueror who had never lost a battle. This was the World Cup of medieval warfare, the war elephants. Timur brought something that the Ottomans were not prepared for: 32 armored war elephants from India. These elephants were like the tanks of the Middle Ages. They had long blades attached to their tusks and carried archers on their backs. When the battle began, the Ottoman cavalry tried to charge, but their horses were terrified by the smell and the sound of the elephants. The horses panicked and ran away, leaving the Ottoman infantry alone. The dark secret. The third dark truth is that the heat was once again a major factor. The battle took place in July, and both armies had hundreds of thousands of soldiers. As the Ottoman army began to lose, some of Bayezid's own soldiers, who had been forced to join his army, betrayed him and joined Timur in the middle of the fight. Around 40,000 to 50,000 men died in just one day. Sultan Bayezid was captured and held in an iron cage, according to some legends. The Ottoman Empire almost disappeared that day, and it took 50 years for them to recover. It was a brutal reminder that even the strongest empires can fall in a single afternoon if their soldiers lose loyalty. It's incredible how much a river or a hot day can change the fate of millions, isn't it? If you are enjoying this journey through the bloodiest moments of history, please like this video and subscribe to 5 Point Historian. Now let's look at a battle where the weak defeated the strong. 4. The Battle of Agincourt, 1415. The Mudpit. The Battle of Agincourt is famous in English history because King Henry V defeated a much larger French army. But the story isn't about glory. It's about a terrifying disaster in the mud, the trap of the longbow. The French army consisted of thousands of wealthy knights in expensive armor. They looked magnificent. The English army was small, tired, and many were suffering from dysentery. The French were sure they would win. But the English had a secret weapon: the longbow. These bows could fire arrows that could pierce armor from 200 meters away. However, the arrows weren't the only problem for the French. It had been raining for days, and the battlefield was a deep, sticky pit of mud. The dark secret. The fourth dark truth is that the mud was a death sentence. When the French knights charged, their heavy horses got stuck. The knights behind them kept pushing, and soon the men in the front fell into the mud. Because their armor was so heavy, about 25 to 30 kilos, they couldn't get back up. Thousands of French knights literally drowned in the mud or were crushed to death by the weight of their own friends falling on top of them. The English archers, who didn't wear heavy armor, ran into the mud and killed the trapped knights with small knives. It was a brutal, unhonorable end for the noble knights of France. Around 6,000 to 10,000 Frenchmen died, while the English lost only a few hundred. 5. The Battle of Yarmmuk, 636. The turning point of history. Finally, we go back to the year 636. This is perhaps the most important battle you have never heard of. It took place near the Yarmmuk River, between the Byzantine Empire, the remains of the Roman Empire, and the newly formed Islamic Caliphate, the Desert Storm. The Byzantine army was massive, around 100,000 to 150,000 soldiers. The Muslim army, led by the genius general Khalid ibn al-Walid, was much smaller. The battle lasted for 6 days. On the final day, a massive dust storm began. The wind blew the sand directly into the eyes of the Byzantine soldiers. They couldn't see anything. Khalid used this opportunity to launch a massive cavalry charge. The dark secret. The fifth dark truth is the scale of the retreat. As the Byzantine soldiers tried to escape the dust and the swords, they reached a deep ravine, a small valley with steep sides. Because they were blind from the sand, thousands of soldiers walked right off the edge of the cliff. They fell hundreds of feet to their deaths, one on top of another. It is estimated that 50,000 to 70,000 Byzantine soldiers died that day. This single battle ended Roman power in the Middle East forever and allowed the spread of Islam across North Africa and Spain. It shows that even the biggest empire can be defeated by a well-timed storm and a clever plan. These 5 battles show us the true face of the Middle Ages. It was a time when the weather, the geography, and the luck of a single day could destroy an entire civilization. From the frozen rivers of England to the dusty cliffs of the Yarmouk, thousands of men gave their lives for the dreams of kings and sultans. History is often told as a story of heroes and glory, but we must remember the reality. The mud, the thirst, the cold, and the terrifying fear of the soldiers. These battles didn't just decide who won a war. They decided the languages we speak, the religions we follow, and the borders of our modern world. Understanding the blood of the past helps us appreciate the peace of the present. Thank you for joining me for this look at the 5 bloodiest battles of the Middle Ages. Which of these stories did you find the most shocking? For me, the Bridge of Bodies in the Battle of Towton is something I will never forget. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like this video and subscribe to 5 Point Historian. We have many more stories about the hidden secrets of history coming your way. Stay curious, stay historical, and I will see you in the next video.